Hello,
Hello.
ladies.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wizard's Table. I'm your host, Ken Allen, and
Mr.
Mistress
Speed.
B. Hi, Mistress B. How are you, girl?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great.
Awesome. So we have a little bit of a different show tonight. Our guest, due to some scheduling and time difference issues, we had to pre-record an interview with her. So we're going to play that interview with you. Please continue to interact in the comments, and we'll do the same as well. And without further ado, we welcome Patti Negri.
All right.
One.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wizard's Table. I'm your host, Ken Allen, Mistress B. Yeah. We have a really awesome guest tonight. Her name is Patti Negri. I know you know who she is. She is a very famous psychic medium, white witch, powerful witch, good witch, right?
Good witch. Me
And
and Glenda.
she has been on many episodes of Ghost Adventures, the Ghost Adventures crew, with Zach and the boys. So thank you, Patti. Thank you for doing this interview. Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it greatly.
You're very welcome. Happy to be here. Thank you both. Thank you.
So
And congratulations on your book, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm real happy because it's stuff in it was stuff I was tired of saying over and over again because it's kind of about encompassing your power, and you guys are amazing. We forget, we give away our power all the time. So just put it in a real simple book and you won't have to keep saying it every day.
Absolutely.
you're right. We do give away our power every day. And can you give
Anything
me,
we can.
yeah, can you give me some examples of some of the, through your experience, and you have a lot of experience with witchcraft and mediumship. Obviously, you were born a medium. Most mediums are. By the way, my husband is a medium.
Nice.
Yeah, very powerful medium. And what is some of the more significant ways most people give away their power and become vulnerable to others?
I think they do because it's when you become a victim to anything, and it's not your fault, whatever that is, your life situation, even your health, whatever, everything that is. When it's not your fault, you become a victim, so you're not responsible for it. But as soon as you take responsibility for it, then you can change it, and you don't have to be that anymore. But we're so willing to give away to just personal limiting belief systems, religious belief systems, to other people, give it away to fear, give it away. But it's just the tiniest tweak of perception to grab it back in how powerful we all are. You know, it's amazing. Even things like I'm stressed all the time. Okay, you don't have to be stressed all the time. You don't have to take weird drugs to be unstressed. Oh, why don't we work elementally? Why don't you try breathing? Why don't you try this chant? In 30 seconds, you don't have to be stressed. Can you do that? Can you do that? Yeah, you can.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that I bring stress on myself because I overthink everything.
That's because it's your air element. You do.
Yeah.
Nobody breathes anymore. We're always in a hurry. We shallow breathe. Shallow breathe is our air element, this whole crown of illumination. Not breathing, holding. I bet you catch yourself holding your breath. We all.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I forgot to breathe. And that will cause chatty brain and foggy brain. All we have to do is breathe. I'm a big believer in that mind, body, spirit concept that 200,000 books are written about. Self-help books, psychology books, occult books. Every kind of book is written about that. Mind, we understand, will never surpass our own belief system. It's going to be easy. You just made it easier. I can't do it. No, you probably can't. We understand this. Like mind, body, we have to take action. You can't sit on the couch and make all this stuff happen. But the spirit part, that's the part that people don't get because it's less tangible. In reality, you could do it lots of ways. You could do it through your belief system, pray, whatever you do, new age, affirmations, vision boards, do a spell working, whatever you do, that's the battery that makes it happen. So, and if you have 3 out of 3, it's a home run. You just get it, unless you're trying to break the law of physics and like fly without an airplane or something. But I tell people all the time, go through your whole life, look at everything that you've accomplished in the stuff that you have. You've had all 3, mind, but you've believed it, you've taken action, and you had some form of faith or spirit or energy behind it. Look at the stuff that you haven't made happen yet. Oops, you're missing just 1 or 2 of those things. You either don't really believe it, you're sitting on the couch not doing it, or you don't have that whatever, that spark of energy that makes it happen. And that's so easy to do. And me being an elemental witch, it's like, okay, if we have everything built in, if you put your whole body into air, fire, water, earth, like pagans, Native Americans, your earth is who you are. Your grounding, your home, that's your persona. Your fire is your passion, creativity, love, sex, gods. That's what keeps us going. That's north and south in an elemental compass. But where we get off balance is west and east, like an airplane going sideways. West is our water. It's our emotions. Almost 60% of our body has got to flow. Air is our thought pattern, our focus, our clarity. That's our breath. So the next time, if you're not as happy or productive or conscious as you can be, because we're so zombies, we've gotten phoned in, asleep at the wheel, by rote, automatic pilot, all these words we used. I really think that's what this whole pandemic is about, a big old wake up call. But again, so if you're going, okay, I'm not as happy or whatever, okay, what instead of numbing out like we tend to do, people eat, people drink, people do drugs, people shop, people, all those things to numb out or in front of the TV, instead go, okay, where am I out of balance? Oh, it's my emotions. Okay, I need the water element. I need flowing water. Mind, body, spirit. Run your hands underwater. 1, 2, 3. Talk to spirit. You've got it. Oh, it's my air. I'm thinking too much. I'm overthinking. I'm not focused. I've got hormones, whatever that is. Breathe into it. Do a little Heka work, a little Egyptian magic. Get some vowels in there. Every sacred word's about Om, E-I-E-I-O. Chatter stops, fog lifts, clarity comes in. That easy. You don't need money. You don't need time. It is great to meditate for an hour. But as a rule, in these modern days, we have 30 seconds to pull it together, not an hour.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Bravo. Thank you.
That's what I write about. Just do it,
Yeah, you're right.
That's so important because there are so many people out there, not only in magical practice, but just in life, that they see all of these people, they see them out there succeeding and thriving, and they think, why can't I do that? And I'm really excited that instead of them being able to feed into well, I can't do it because of whatever negative emotion, you've given them the secret, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and everybody could do it. And again, it doesn't take money. It doesn't take time. No one's any better at anything else than anybody else.
Yeah.
It's just that focus.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I wanted to get your perspective on, okay, I'm a practitioner of sorcery. Okay. I'm more LHP, left hand.
Okay, awesome.
All right. And that's just where I belong. I mean,
that's great.
I love it. What is your opinion on the left hand path? And please be honest as you want.
Oh, yeah, completely. Terminology, I'm a good witch. I work, I don't do manipulative magic. I don't do what I consider dark magic, but I think I'm left-hand path. In fact, in my understanding of the word, a right-hand path is dextral. You let things happen. It's the divine way of doing it. It's like for the best of whatever. To me, a left-hand path, you have the sinistral side, which means shift and change. It doesn't mean evil or dark, but to cause change, when you go, if I'm doing a spell working or whatever, to cause shift and change, unless it's just a prayer to the heavens, you're working somewhat of the left-hand path. It's just we understand it differently in how we typically use the term.
Right. Okay, cool.
In my understanding, I'm probably not by the book understanding, but to me, to work left hand means you are taking fate into your own hands. You are taking that responsibility, that the natural trajectory of things is the easy path. Water runs downhill. Gravity pulls you here. That's the normal way of doing it. Again, I don't look left or right. My best example explaining to people who don't understand this stuff, you guys all pros, but is okay. The water comes down the mountain. The water comes down the mountain into the village below, and the village below thrives because you have to have water. You have a house on the hill, but you need that water, and it's kind of next to the water. To practice the craft would be the spell would be build a dam, put the pipes to your house. To me, a correct way of doing it is you take all the water you want, and yes, all the water you want. Have water features, have a pool, have a pond, but leave some for the village. If you leave some for the village, then everybody's happy, even within your abundance. Now, to me, negative magic, not right or left, is you take all the water, because then the village dies, or they come up and they kill you. There's the karmic kickback of it. It's that simple. I don't think you have to get moralistic with it or anything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. Great analogy, by the way.
Thanks. I like to simplify things. The pipe's over here. If you take away from the village, they're going to come kill you. Okay. Yeah. There's the kickback.
Right. So I was going over your bio, one of your bios, and it was saying that I guess you kind of discovered your mediumship abilities at a very young age. How old were you exactly?
As long as I can talk. I was like, I remember a toddler, 3 or 4. I just knew the guy in the closet, the creatures under the bed were not the so-called imaginary friends that we are led to believe. They were real entities, real beings that I could talk to, get real information that I could give to my parents about real things. And I was always obsessed with the dead, but never in a darker and morbid way, just talking to them. So that's why I literally did my first seance when I was 7 or 8. I went in my hall where there's no windows or lights, stuffed towels under the door, came up with my first chant. It's just in the blood. All of it's in the blood. What kind of plants I would pick out of the garden when I was a kid, and came up with my first chant. Realized I didn't know dead people, but I'm like, okay, Marilyn Monroe, whoever, at the day I knew as a 7 or 8 year old, and the windowless, lightless hall filled with orbs and lights and coming across. And as we went out screaming, because we were 7 or 8, I also was jumping up and down going, yes, this is real and this is controllable. Our realm can control that as much as I could understand it. So I spent my life studying that, learning that, taking it all down to energy the way I see it. So it doesn't matter what belief system you have. To me, that's just a template. That's whatever cosmology you choose, from a typical Judeo-Christian to heavy-duty pagan to atheistic to scientific. If you look at the through line of energy below it, that's where you find the truth. Yeah. So early. But we just have our modern society. That's why I love what you guys do, whatever. Our modern Western society is so non-mystical. We've taken the magic out of everything. Even our religion isn't so mystical. It's like, that's your imagination and this is reality. Mm-hmm. Not so much.
Yeah, you're right. And it's sad. It's depressing, really. It's very depressing.
Yeah.
So I have a follow-up couple of questions about what you do. And I think that I've had one experience where I heard what I thought was an entity or several entities, and it rocked me to my core. But with the frame of mind that the world is in right now, it's so easy to talk yourself out of it and just say, oh, I was imagining that, or it was my fear talking. So how does it feel when you receive a spirit message, and how do you tell the difference between a real spirit message or maybe, a random thought bubble?
It's trusting that intuition, that first gut feeling. I know some people say within 5 seconds, you've got to take action on it. I very much talk left brain, right brain. Your left reasoning, rational, logical brain will not help you talking to spirits, will not help you in your magic practice, will not help you in anything magical. That's how we get through life. We pay our bills, we do whatever. The right brain, our creative, artistic, spiritual, that's where we talk to spirits. You have to really differentiate, and just like the crossing of the bosom, this side of the room, that side of the room. You have to go, you can't have this, I'm talking to a spirit right now. You can't let your left brain go, oh, no, you're not. That doesn't make sense. Bah, 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 bah. You've just shut it down. Just say yes. Practice way. Again, trust this. Just say yes. Okay, it's grandma. Fine, grandma. If you want to analyze it, tell yourself you can analyze it in 2 hours. Was that really grandma, or was that indigestion, or somebody opened the window? Fine. But in that moment, the more you can say yes and stay with this right brain where anything is possible, where magic can happen, where gravity doesn't matter, fairies exist, that's when we open up to that world. But we can't let it shut down. Then you go back, across the broom and go over to this world and live the rest of your life. I have a definitive on-off switch, which keeps me sane. I don't want to be talking to dead people in the grocery store.
Yeah, it could get distracting and could get
so it's not my business anyway. It's like, no, leave me alone. They haven't asked for help. So I think it's just learning. Again, our intuition has been taken out of us, and like even the arts have been taken away from kids at school and this and that, and we've become this very try to be left-brained society. I think it's switching as we moving into this age of Aquarius. It's going to be, we're back here. We're not that earth-based, black and white, right and wrong, solid ground of our parents, grandparents. Now we're Aquarius. It's this. So it's going to, I think, spirituality in all forms, creativity, art. We're going to go into a whole new renaissance of this because it's planetary, it's astrological. So I think I'm really happy about that.
I'm really excited.
I am too. I think it's time for the age of Aquarius. I'm ready for it.
Me too.
So I wanted to ask you, or I wanted to say, my husband, as a medium, he used to have spirits come to him all the time. Didn't matter what time of day, blah, blah, blah. They were constantly coming to him and just aggravating the hell out of him. Finally, he had to stand up and say, look, you can only come at a designated time or whatever when I allow you to. So, he put up that barrier. I'm sure you have to do the same thing.
That's why I call it an on-off switch. Mm-hmm. I literally visualize like an old-fashioned light switch on and off. When it's off, I'm closed for business. I know other mediums have do it almost like a door, open door, closed door, or the veil, because we lift the veil, close the veil. But I've for years just on-off switch, which makes both stronger. It makes them spirits not bother when you don't want it. It doesn't fit into your life, and it makes the on switch that much stronger. You are just open for direct contact to spirit. Now I'm playing around with dimmer switches and all that kind of stuff, but just get a basic on-off switch.
Okay.
So when you're on, you want to make sure that you're as open as possible to receive those spirits, but how do you maintain a boundary between hearing what they have to say and completely inviting them in and opening yourself up to any sort of negative or potentially harmful energy?
Years and years of practice, years and years of study, years and years of understanding, again, of studying occult practices, metaphysics, science in all its forms, understanding deities in many, many different forms and things, because you want to know what this is coming in and how to deal with it. And again, in my regular practice, if we're like 13 people around my dining room table, or now it's 25 people on a Zoom screen, or if I'm 600 people in front of a college, I know how far to lift the veil, and I'm really specific about who comes in. I work dragon energy. That's because I want that crossroads magic. And I set up my wards and protectors, so nothing else is going to get in. Now, when I'm on Ghost Adventures or some other shows, they don't want to talk to dead grandma. They want to talk to the serial killer. We're at the Cecil Hotel. We're at the Black Dahlia. So I have to know how, okay, I will let the Black Dahlia killer come into me, but I keep enough of my consciousness right there. And I know that he's not going home with me. Shut it down. Where I use my oils, where I use my protection, where I use my wards and stuff.
That's actually what brought it up, is that there was a scene in the Cecil Hotel when you open up the window, and I was very concerned you were going to jump. So that's kind of what brought that out.
Yeah, that was it. Okay, that is such a trip. I never know what I'm getting into. That show, I can't speak for shows I've never done, but that show, everything is legit, and you don't know anything. Zach, he will keep me blindfolded, literally, in the trunk of a car if he has to not know where I'm going. Well, here's an address. I drive to it. They pick me up. I fly to it. Here it is. I don't get to know there's 3 people murdered in the back. No, you, Patti, you go in and tell us what happened. I'm always scared to death. What if I get crickets? So on the Cecil Hotel, he called me about 2 weeks before, and he said, Patti, we're coming to LA and I'm going to call you. Okay. Didn't hear from him. 2 weeks later, I get a call from him. He goes, hey, Patty, said, okay, we need you downtown like in 2 hours. And I'm a girl. I'm thinking, did I wash my hair today? Do I have to? You need more than 2 hours to get somewhere.
Yeah.
I was down at my brother's house. I wasn't even home. And I'm like, okay. And I think he might have mumbled the hotel. He gave me the address, and I'm parking downtown, and it's kind of in Skid Row area bad. I'm parking, and I'm like, oh, I see the sign Cecil Hotel. And I'm thinking, because I never studied into, I didn't know Richard Ramirez. I didn't know anything. I just remembered that Alyssa Lamb. All I remembered, a girl in the water tower, people were drinking her for 2 weeks. So anyway, but I parked and I'm thinking about it. And then I'm walking to go into the building. I swear to God, this rat did not want me to go in. And I'm not afraid of rats. I'm like, I go right, the rat would go right. I would go left, the rat would go left. We're dancing on Main Street. I'm like, this, either the rat is trying to protect me or he's just possessed, or we're just dancing. So I finally get in. And the second you get in that building, oh my God. It's like the building is coming in on you, this darkness, and it's coming in, and I start going into trance state because I just let myself do. That's what you do, and going in like this, and I'm feeling, I don't know, and then there pops Zach and the whole guy. They got their camera strapped on, and Zach's like, okay, Patti, there's 14 floors, there's 700 rooms. You tell us where to go.
Okay.
That's where faith comes in. That's what, okay, get in the elevator, and I push whatever button. I don't remember it because I'm really like dream state. And again, you just have to go with it. But I remember getting in the elevator going, oh, you feel it, that you're in a different realm. And so I remember leading them up. There was some other really great stuff in hallways that I took them to. And I hope they actually ends up in some, like, one of their extras shows or added things, because there wasn't enough room for it in the 2-hour special, and it wasn't as dark as so much of it that they showed, but it still was dark and showed some really amazing stuff. But anyway, so I led him into this room, and again, I'm kind of in my state, and I walk to the window, and I'm open, and all I'm doing, and I'm like, why is that yelling at me? I got to get out of here. I'm opening the window. I'm not thinking at all. I got to get out. I'm opening the window. Well, but Zach's yelling at me. He's never yelled at me before. And he's like, sit down. More than you guys even saw. I think they cut out the really yelling part. They made the softer at the beginning part. And he's yelling. And I sat down, and then this thing was dancing around on me. But I had no idea I had led them to a room where somebody had jumped out that exact window. I had no idea. And then the other room was even more so. I lead them to this other room, and I go in, oh my God. And I felt what this woman must have felt. And I'm being attacked. I'm like, don't go there. No. And I felt her just desperation of not knowing what to do. And she couldn't go anywhere. And I think I'm holding myself like a little kid who has to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, and Zach's going, where are you being attacked? Where are you being attacked? And the part of me that's still conscious, how do you say that body part on television? And I'm like, lady parts or whatever I said, female part, and I had no idea that I had led them to a room where a woman had been raped and murdered. Wow. Poor lady who fed the birds. I didn't know any of that stuff. So, I mean, that show, they work really hard to have everything in authenticity and integrity, and he wants it in the moment, wherever it goes. He's a go-getter, huh? Yeah, he is a go-getter. He is, yeah. I'm impressed because I've been working with the show, I think, about 6 years now. And the first time I did it, because I remember I didn't get that show. Who are these big macho guys in t-shirts? And especially in the olden days, go in and come on, ghost. And then, a pin drops and they run like little girls. But the second I work with them, I go, oh, I get it. It's because they're 120% committed. They are like the 8-year-old kid who's going to Disneyland. And they've got it cranked up to 12 on a scale of 1 to 10. So that's why they're in their 20th whatever season, because it's just all balls out. That's what it is. Everything that they do.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure watching them learn and grow, not only in their own experience, but to watch the technology catch up to them has been incredible. That to me, because I'm old school. Even still, I show up with a pair of dowsing rods. I don't have the equipment, but I remember the first time when I'm not here to use a computer,
for years I've been going, oh, the spirit's going like this, and it's right over your head. For the first time I saw an SLS camera, it was in the other room. I couldn't see it. And I'm going, spirit's like going like this. And Billy's in the other room, and somebody's actually seeing the spirit go like this. It's like, yes, it's like amazing. It's like, wow. So yeah, science and spirituality is coming together. It's with quantum physics and everything. They're just going to crash, boom, be the same damn thing. It's all going to come down to numbers anyway.
Yeah. It needs to happen. It's time. It's time.
Yeah.
And I would like to see more paranormal investigators employ people like you.
Me too.
And
we're working on it. We're working on it. Yeah, I have a new network, and
a lot of them are too caught up in just the science.
Yeah.
They need more. They need to attack it at both angles. So
yeah.
So what is it like? What is it like working with Zach?
He is great. He's really sweet. They all are really sweet. And it's kind of like, it is kind of a boys club, not in a bad sense of the word. But again, you'll be the only girl there, and however many is crew and however many, whatever. And they're good old guys. And I'm married to a drummer, and we produce a drum show. So these are the same guys, the kind of jeans and t-shirt guys. So, they were fancier ones on the show. So I'm used to that. It's great. He's really good. They all have their own methods of protection and how they deal with things. Like Billy's Mr. Palo Santo wood. Zach's kind of got a Catholic hold on thing. And Aaron's just crazy. And they've all got their own kind of, Jay's the researcher, but they really are, but they have grown so much. And how they do it, they don't just scream at the ghost. They really, it's like, if you're going to scream at somebody, is they really want to answer back,
Right. Yeah. I recently binge watched a lot of their early stuff, like way back in like 2000 and early 2000s. Yeah. And it's amazing to watch how they have advanced and how they have progressed and evolved.
Yeah. Completely.
And Bill Chappell's amazing.
Isn't he?
His technology is superb.
He is amazing. So is Gary Galka, though. Gary Galka, who did in the Millimeter and the SB7 bucks and all this. And now Justin Spurrier is on the show. He's the tech guy. Again, science is catching up. It's amazing. I remember not this Halloween, the Halloween before, we were doing the 4-hour live special, which was the hardest show in the history of the world to do 4 hours live, because ghosts have to break for commercial. They don't.
Right.
They don't. Right. All the good stuff, we have to break for commercial, go to commercial, and something insane would happen, and we'd never get resolution, and you'd never get to go see. But I remember we were sitting in this room where everybody between where you went on, and I was with Bill Chappell and Gary Galka and Justin Spurrier and Joshua Warren, and I'm like a kid in the candy store going, I use the dollar app Ghost Radar and my dancing. But they didn't kick me out of the room. It's okay.
Well, I'll admit, the most I've ever used is a spirit box, which this is a SB7.
SB7. That's Gary Galka. Yeah.
And a digital recorder. That's most I've ever used, because I have had to perform exorcisms and stuff like that because of non-human entities.
Yeah.
What is your experience been with non-human entities?
I always explain to people there's ghosts, which were people, and they're usually crossed over and fine. There's good people, bad people, just like people. And then there's the shades, the ones that didn't quite cross over, maybe the violent death or didn't know they're dead. And those are the ones that go to the light, that you can do that. And then there's the everything else category, things that were never human, getting into the angelic, demonic, elemental, all that kind of stuff. And all that, it's interesting. It's interesting. The weirdest part of that, though, and getting completely into another realm, is getting into the off-world world, which I've never studied or been extraterrestrial stuff. Because one of my mentors, Maximilian de Lafayette, he's a linguist. He speaks 21 languages, most of them ancient, like ancient Sumerian, which is like an Anunnaki. So I've been doing seances my whole life, since I was a kid. And he gave me this, okay, do it like this. And he gave me all these Anunnaki words and sigils and grids. And I was with a pretty well-known actress in my deep backyard, and we're doing this whole different thing showed up. whole different thing showed up. Like, holy shit.
You can say it. You can say
Yeah. Okay. Holy shit. This isn't a good. And so it was wild. And like, I don't know this realm. I haven't studied this realm. I don't know that they're going to go by the laws of whatever of our realm of angelic, demonic, elemental, human, this or that, animal spirits. And then we did it again. And there was like, I think there was 7 of us, all really experienced mediums. And we did it again. Holy shit, bigger. All of a sudden, we started creating this grid. None of us knew I had the right words and the letters. We started doing these weird body movements and sounds. And then there was harmonic sounds like, and we were building this grid, standing up. And it looks like what was that movie? Not Beetlejuice, the one where we were around the thing, and then one of the mediums, not me, started channeling this thing, and then this big thing laid its arm across the table. I mean, this talk about other world. I don't know how this worked. It was good. It was whatever came in was good, and it talks like when you hear those people, because I'm insane. I talk to dead people. I dance around naked around bonfire. I'm weird. But I think those UFO people are more weird because I just think of the aluminum foil hats. But so I've never studied that much into it, but this was a trip and it was pretty cool. But the one thing I do notice is that whatever realm or dimension that is on, it doesn't seem like our earthly or spirit things go to the same, like ETs won't come to the same seance as ghosts, angels, and demons and elementals.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, what is that place? Stardust Ranch?
Yeah.
That place.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That place. Woo. I remember when Ghost Adventures went there. They had it all.
Yeah.
It's all
yeah.
there. Have you ever been there? Have you?
No, I haven't. I would like to go. I work with this Stefan Brigatti. I met one of the Paracons, and he has a little paranormal group, Pacific Coast Paranormal, and we're working with this one that's very, this isn't human realm, this isn't angel demonic realm, and again, it's learning a new language, literally and physically. I don't know how to clear that so well. We're just learning. I don't. It's like walking into a new world. It's weird. It's really weird.
Yeah. I never got into UFO phenomena. I've read about it. I watched documentaries, but that's it. Most, I practice sorcery. I practice LHP. I do work with goetic spirits, demons, and I have a jinn. I have a personal jinn. Nice. I actually saw him when I was about 7 years old.
Really? So he's been with you always?
He's always been with me. Yeah. He's like a guardian. He's a little on the dark side, but he's protected me. I'm telling you, Patti, I have been in some very risky situations and have no idea how the hell I got out of it. And I attribute it to him.
That's awesome.
I know it was him. So,
that is awesome. Yay.
Mr. Spee, you got anything else?
Yeah, I heard you say earlier in this podcast, and I've read it about you, that you work with dragon energy. Can you tell me, because I'm nowhere near as masterful as Ken is. I'm what they call a baby witch. And so that's something that I've never heard of before, and I would love to hear more.
Okay. Dragon, it's an energy. It's a spirit. We create spirits all the time. We know that. There's the one that come into us, the jinns and this and that, and we create spirits, egregores, servitors, golem in Hebrew, create. Dragon, and okay, so think about it. We understand angelic energy. They're dextral, what you're talking about, sistral. They're up here. They're two things. Angels can do two things: protection and enlightenment. Two good things. They can't cause shift or change. Protection and enlightenment, because they don't have that central. That's great. Then there's fairy realm. They're fae. They bring in that mischief and light and this and that. But if you really want shift and you really want change, dragon energy, it's been around forever. Look at the Asian dragon, medieval dragon. It's fire energy and it's crossroads magic. So, if you go symbolically, dragons, they can fly between heaven and earth. They live at those crossroads of change and shift. It's like working crossroads magic. Dance with the devil, don't let him lead. But since I've been teaching people, I'll show you fancy ass dragons, like toy store dragons. But I teach people how to like breathe life into them. You feed them. They have to eat every day. They don't eat, but they drink, and they drink a lot. Mine move around the house on their own. You give them life, you breathe into them, you're creating a real spirit. they could be your secret weapon, Mrs. B. Since I've been teaching, a lot of people go, oh, you can't teach dragon magic to regular people. It's like, no, we need it now. Again, because we are moving into a new age, because we're in these crazy times. It is not that black and white land of whatever it was before. And dragon energy, they're not your spirit guides. You have to tell them what you want. They're not God. They're worker bees. So since I've been teaching people this, one, I stopped an abusive relationship. This woman abused by her husband, sexual abuse every day. Nothing she could do or say could make him stop. She was stuck in the marriage. It happens. Little kids, financial. Gave her the dragon. She charged the dragon. He did it again the next day. And then she's like, thanks a lot, dragon. She realized she hadn't told the dragon she didn't like it. The dragon might have thought some hot sex thing.
Yeah.
He's never touched her again.
That's amazing.
He's never touched her again. My most famous one is pretty hysterical. I'm in LA. So the LA Dodgers baseball team, they were winning. They won like 20 games in a row. And then Sports Illustrated magazine did a special on them. It said, Dodgers, best team ever, and put them on the cover. They tanked. They started losing like 20 games in a row. And all these sports dudes, not pagans, not spiritual, they started going, oh, it's the curse. It's the Sports Illustrated curse. Oh, no, they're going to do it again. So I was called in by, you won't know this people, Fred Rogan, Rodney Peete, Victor, sports dudes, sports radio dudes, Dodger dudes. So we did an old school Southern conjure lemon uncrossing spell. They have a blue dragon, breathe life into it. They're feeding it. That year, Dodgers got to playoffs. This year, they won. We made local LA news, which was cool, but we made ESPN national news. Oh my God, these guys chanting, charging a dragon. I'm like, this is freaking weird. This is awesome.
I love that though.
But it worked. It works. A dragon, it's crossroads. It's crossroads. Well, you know, if you work the left pen path, you work at crossroads.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've worked the crossroads with certain goetic spirits, demons, and I've worked it with Papa Legba,
Yes.
and Balance Sanity, and Hecate.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly. So get yourself a dragon and you feed it every day. And again, and a skeptic will, of course, say, oh, it's evaporation. I've had the same liquid 3 across, one drink in a day, one drink in a day, one drink in a week. Yeah. You know, evaporation doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't.
And my best one. Oh, I was just gonna say, and then I'll get my best one was this girl. If she left it at home, if you travel, you could say, okay, you're not going to eat this week. This is a vessel. It's not here. It's not the toy. You're not going to eat this week. I'll feed you when I get back, or take it with you to anybody else. It's a toy. But she left her dragon at home. She went to Vegas for a girls' weekend, and she said, take care of the family at home. Take care of us here. They were there first day. It was a concert. Great. They were there the second day of the concert. She grabbed her 2 girlfriends and she said, my dragon said we have to leave. And her girlfriend's like, are you crazy? What we paid for these tickets and whoever's on stage. She drug them out. Seconds later, that massacre started right where they were standing. And she said, I heard my dragon's voice. My dragon had a voice. It said, leave now. Boom. So your dragon might have an outside voice, might have an inside voice, but they have the power you give them, just like anything else that the spirits we create. But it's an entity that works for regular folks and muggles as well, but still powerful energy.
Okay. Yeah. I was just going to mention the evaporating thing for when you give offerings or whatever. I've experienced that a lot. I would give offerings to my ancestors of alcohol, a good amount. It would be gone, completely bone dry the next day.
Yeah.
You know, and alcohol does not evaporate that quickly. No way. Impossible.
Yeah.
So they are interacting with it.
Yeah. Magic.
So, magic. Absolutely. It's real. Magic's real. Sorcery is real. Witchcraft is real. Wizardry is real. It's all real.
All real.
The paranormal, it's all real. It's a real thing. So, yeah. You want to talk a little bit about your book? What really inspired you to write that? You said you got tired of having to answer the questions, but
not really. No,
what's the truth?
It was just. I see things so simplistically. I see things simplistically, like this is such an easy fix. Like if you're looking straight ahead, if you move your eyes 1/2 an inch, you've got a whole different view to things. So I wanted it really simple. And again, in working with people really do they all want the same things. They need the same things. And I wanted something that was really simple, again, whatever I wrote, to tips, tricks, and techniques. And I use the word tricks on purpose to balance, empower, and create a life you love. So I spent more time unwriting it than writing it on purpose, because I wrote a book and I go, words, who cares about my words? And I remember when I started decades ago, I'd buy these big fancy books, whatever, on occult or spiritual, it doesn't matter. And they'd sit on the shelf. They'd be boring or hard to understand and overwhelming. And then I'd buy some simple book like Scott Cunningham in the 80s. Yeah. I would devour it. And that's what I wanted this to be. So, it's everything. There's a chapter on health and weight loss. Easy. Do it like that with magic. Have it on love, on how to clear your house, on how protection techniques. The section on dragons, section on doing a dumb supper for the dead, cutting these cords here so it's here. Simple, that people don't have to. They know I'm a witch. They know, but you don't have to be that. You could be whatever you choose to be, but just grab your pack. You don't have to go buy and find Eye of Newt somewhere. Put some salt in your toilet. Guess what? All your lower chakras are open when you go to the bathroom. Carve something in your soap. Do this. Enchant your toothpaste. Simple, powerful, easy.
Yeah.
And I like the way that it's done, because we're in a day and age where everybody wants stuff now. And so I think that keeping it simple is not only a blessing for the people who come across your book, but also, for all of those new people that are just trying to get into it, is that it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be an 8-day ritual. You don't have to go and build yourself a sweat lodge and harvest your own St. John's root or anything like that. Right. You can just get in there and get going. And I think that lighting that fire for people is what's going to push them to go forward, because that's what happened to me. I started with tarot and I fell in love with it. And the first reading I did for somebody, they bawled their eyes out. And that's what got me going.
Yeah. That's what it is. And again, it's all about getting back in touch. And I'm very much getting back in touch with nature. We've gotten in our modern so out. So I teach people just following moon cycles. There's the waning moon and the waxing moon. You're adding in, go on your diet here, quit smoking there, add money here. Just like wake up in the morning, go, moon's waxing, I'm going to add into my life. Moon's waning, I'm going to let go. Oh, it's a new moon, I'm going to contemplate a little. Basic getting in touch with who we are and where we are.
And it really is that simple. Yeah. If you apply yourself to do it.
And it can be, I love complicated rituals where the 8-day and here, and you start at the hour of Jupiter and here, and you work with the goddess of Kata, and that's great. But again, that's like overpowering for most people. And
yeah. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes I don't want to do all that all that shit. I don't want to worry about what house Venus is in and where Jupiter's at right now. I follow the moon phases, but that's about it. Unless I need something really bad, I don't even worry about the moon phases.
Right.
I just do it.
Right. Magic works when you need it.
Yeah. Right. We have too much to keep up with already.
Yeah. We do. So did you have anything else, B?
I did. I was listening to another podcast, and I was listening to you talk about sex with ghosts. And I am so curious as to how you figured that out and how that got kind of started.
How I'm an international expert on spectrophilia. You become an international expert when the playing field is about 3 people big. It's like you rise to the top really fast.
Whatever works.
No, again, because I've had this relationship with spirits my whole life. I remember my first client came in, and I mean, it's been around forever. We mostly get the negative side, the incubus, the succubus, but man and gods have had relations forever. Man and other things. It's the Jesus story for that sake. It's Odin. It's everybody. It's always been a human and a non-human having this thing. If you believe that, okay, if you don't believe in ghosts, you don't believe in ghosts. But if you believe, okay, grandma can come and hold your hand, why would you think your loved one or some other lover sex is off limits now when it's such an integral part of the human experience? It's like, that doesn't make sense. So I remember my first client who was having a negative part of it, because just like real sex, it's good and bad, and it's consensual and non-consensual. We don't like the non-consensual. We don't, but she was having that. So I really had to start studying and how for her to banish it and get rid of it, and why it was sexual and where it went there. And then at the same time, once people know that I'm doing that, the good side of things, and it's so many people experience and have. And sadly, again, in our non-mystical, we're in our prudish American society where sex is still evil for some reason. So it's still forbidden. We're getting better, but not much, so if ghosts and spirits are bad and sex is bad, all these people experience it. We're like thinking they're possessed or they're evil or of the devil or they're crazy. And none of that is true. So I started studying the good part of it. And so many people, even my best friend, her husband died really young. And he came to her, and like that foreplay started that same way. And it went into this whole thing. And had she not known what I did, she would have thought she was crazy or making it up or whatever. And it wasn't. It was her husband came. So it just happened. We did one movie. Travel Channel did it, and it was called Ghostly Lovers. It's a film, almost like a Hallmark film, but all the good side of ghost sex, spectrophilia. I was one of the experts on it. They played it once. I was like, they played Ghost Adventures every 3 minutes, the same episode. How come Ghostly Lovers got to play once?
Only one time.
Yeah, I think so.
I would like to see it.
A little too good for TV.
Too good for TV. Yeah. It was so funny because it was really done almost like a Hallmark movie. Oh, and the lover came to me. And it was a story. I think one story was the woman's ex-husband had came and one was some hot, native lover came to this girl, and one was something else. I don't remember. But it was so funny. It's like, what happened to that movie? But I've done a lot of articles, and I've done funny things like work with the BuzzFeed girls that they wanted to have sex with a ghost. It's like, you were wearing your worst sweats. Did you really want to have sex with a ghost? Is that how you seduce somebody? I give them a chance to do it and stuff. So,
but actually, as well as I do, sex with spirits isn't really a new thing.
No,
it's been around for thousands of years.
Since the beginning of time.
Yeah, incubus, succubus, the dead, human dead, the non-human spirits. So, in fact, I know a guy who has sex with goetic entities on a regular basis and loves it.
Yeah,
whatever.
Whatever. Sex is sex, and spirits are spirits. However we work, it's just our goofy society.
Yeah, I think we as human beings put limitations on.
Yeah.
We put our human limitations on other things, and we try to judge it by our limited morality as well. And you can't do that. You can't do that.
No.
This seems kind of like an asking for a friend question, but I honestly am too. For viewers that don't have any experience with this, and for this is the first time that they're hearing about things like this and that it's possible, what would you suggest as protection, or would you just suggest that they not worry about it? Because although it's not a new thing, it's not something that they need to be worried about in everyday life.
No, not that you don't have to be worried about it, but just like be conscious and careful of what you're doing, especially if you're not a practitioner. Same thing I would tell somebody if you're playing with a Ouija board. It's like, again, you got to know how to use it. Not is anybody out there, anybody come in, anybody comes have sex with me. You have to be you direct it, who you want, what you want. I firmly believe this is our realm of existence. We really do have say here, unless we give our power over to spirits, entities, gods, demons, whoever. But this is our realm. They have to play by our rules here, unless we give it over. So I think the protection, so to speak, is know who and what you want. Be very specific in your boundaries. And who you're going to call, what you're going to do if it goes awry on that. And that's it. I don't think it's good. Somebody's doing, if it's a magical practice or whatever, that's fine. It's got a really good place for short term for people. Again, like somebody whose lover has passed and wants to say goodbye and move them on. I've also had some really good experience with it. People who've lost their own sensuality, sexuality, mostly women, and they don't think they're desirable anymore, and they think they're ugly and that and all this kind of stuff, and they've lost it. worked with them that they've actually been able to bring in spirit lovers and rediscover their fire, their sensuality, their sexuality. Good. Now move to humans. Because again, it talk about geographically undesirable, especially again, it's not like it's their goetic, whatever spirits. It's like you can't bring them home for the holidays. They're not going to take you out on a date. It's great to wake it up, get it going, show you what you're missing, and now go find a living being. Is my take on it. But again, that's individual.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Some people marry them though. Some people marry spirits.
I know. The girl who gets all the press, there's an English girl, because I've done the English version of Good Morning America, I think is a Good Day. I don't know. We went viral in seconds on that. I was with my friend Natasha Blasik, who's this Ukrainian actress here in LA. Actually, our husbands are bandmates, and she's had it, and we went like viral in 2 seconds a couple of years ago. And then they had this English girl who wanted to marry a ghost and do a ghost and have a baby with a ghost. I don't think you could have a baby with a ghost. Sorry. The crazy ones still get the good press, but
Well, wasn't one of them a pirate ghost?
I think so.
Is that the one you're talking about, or is that a different one?
I'm not sure. Yeah, she was a woman giving up men because spirits were better. And again, I do hear good spirit sex is better than good human sex, because you don't even have the limitation of the physical body. I think it's all encompassing.
There would be no limitations. From my understanding, with sex with like the succubus and the incubus, there is no limitations.
Yeah, no limitations. Yeah, it's like every cell of your body. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think that there's always a certain point in life where you meet somebody and you go, all right, that's what you do. You go ahead.
No, I think everybody should do whatever they want, as long as they're not hurting anybody else. Rock it
Right.
out.
That's
Rock
it.
out. So
I agree 100%.
Absolutely.
Asking for a friend.
Maybe that's what we'll call it, because I feel like it's my duty as the baby to ask the questions that all the other baby wizards are going to have out there.
Yeah, and I'll give people, it is getting into a meditative state. It is getting open. You might want to do some certain herbs and oils, just like if you're lifting the veil to do a seance or anything else. You set your space, you do whatever, you call them in. I give them certain chants and things that will open things up.
Yeah. Speaking of your dream state, I notice that when you're in it, you kind of walk around and there's a hand motion, like a grasping. Is that conscious, or is that just letting your body do what it wants to do?
That's my body do what I want to do. Yeah, I had to get used to that at first, because it's like, you want to be conscious of how you look. And I'm always like, it's like Joe Cocker, which way back. But no, it's not conscious. I'm very, very dream state. I allow myself to be, if it's the right appropriate moment for when I watch it on TV, it's like, I don't remember any of that. It's like watching it for the first time, or like, I sort of remember that, but not really. And yeah, no, I have no control over this. And it's worse. I don't channel on that show so much because there's just not enough time to get into it, where somebody heavily takes me over. But when somebody heavily takes me, a few times I have on that heavy, again, it's like two people in one body. So it is hard to
There's
fit.
a lot of elbow and
Yeah.
Yeah, understandable. What is the most malevolent force that you've ever had to encounter?
I think it's the Black Dahlia guy, not at the Black Dahlia house. I've done a Ghost Adventures there, and I did another show there, non-paranormal show, but I did a seance there. And he's bad. He is bad. That Dr. George Hodel is bad. But he came, I was doing something else, and I broke my own rules, and I didn't set up right, and he ripped all the cartilage off my ribs. He threw me into my own dining room chair, and I'm sliding down the chair, and my friend's going, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Nope, I'm not okay." As and I always say I'm okay. Yeah, my arm's hanging off. It's a flesh wound. I'm not okay. I think that was the worst. And then there's a story I've told a lot too, but I was and it wasn't even a demon. It was just a cranky ass ghost. I was at Marilyn Manson's when somebody burst into flames in my seance. I've only had one spontaneous combustion. It's like, again, one kid got disrespectful because I'm like, be a skeptic, try to believe, try to be open, but be respectful because it's real. Spirits goes, nobody likes disrespect. And this kid was getting worse and worse. And French doors were flying open, speakers were coming on the floor, things were flying around. They said that something horrible, that not him, but the cameraman facing him burst into flames, burst spontaneous. Angel wings of fire up his back. I'm shutting it down. People are screaming. 2 cameras caught the whole thing. 1 camera hit the ceiling or hit the floor. His camera was the opposite. He's like, why is everybody screaming and staring at me as he's on fire? Not in front of a fireplace or anything. But this is what's really cool. He showed me 3 weeks later. And he showed me 3 weeks later. He goes, Patti, look at my back. It looked like a dragon. It had an open mouth, sharp teeth, winged this into the shape of a serpent. And that, of course, is the exact energy I called in to shut down the seance. And I'm like, you have a tramp stamp of a dragon on your back. That is the coolest ever. And he thought so too. It was so great. And he's got it. He wrote it. Actually, he haven't done it yet. I hope he does it. He wrote a horror movie about a TV psychic who does all the shows and doing another TV show, and then a portal opens and then it becomes a horror film. He actually wrote it with Stephen Norrington, the guy who wrote League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and the Blade series. This is really great horror guy. They wrote it, but I sat down with him for 5 hours. I go, oh, Laurent, you can't say that on the movie. He goes, why? You said that. I go, I know I said that, but that does something. It opens, you can't say that. You don't want to be one of those cursed horror films, do you? Because spirits, ghosts don't know the difference of TV, movie, real life. And if you're doing something that's what happens with these films that don't know better or use somebody who's an expert to know what to do and not to. That's what, all the actors in the movie died. Oops.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like trying to do stunts without a stunt double. Unless you know how to fall the right way, you're going to break something.
Yeah. Exactly.
I have a question, Patti.
Okay.
Lady Snake. Do y'all get along yet?
Honestly, we've never beyond social media. I don't think we've had a real conversation, and it's probably good because Zach wants our thing. But it just cracks me up because the first time again, we're at the museum. That was like, fly there, don't know what's going on. He's got me locked in the gypsy wagon. I mean, that's where I actually met my best friend, Father Sebastian. Now I'm a vampire too. But I'm like, Bloody Mary was there, and I'm lady, baby man on the floor. I don't know. And I'm seeing all this stuff. I'm doing my stream of consciousness. And then Zach's like, he's like, hey, come with me. I want you to meet something. And he walks in, and I see this little unassuming English woman, this little middle-aged, and it's like, she fucking wants to kill me. What? And this energy back and forth, boom, boom, boom. And she had a shovel and she wanted to hit me. And
yeah,
I had no idea that was Ed Gein's cauldron until I saw it on TV. Of course, she was letting him take over. It wasn't her. It wasn't the lady, the witch, whoever. She was being totally possessed by him. I know she's a mom. She's probably a fine lady. We just have to keep this thing going. But, she'll go there. And it was pretty funny. And then the next time, that other one I was talking about, that 4-hour live one, everybody knew that everybody was there. Like, we were all at the same hotel. We'd go to dinner together. We were in the room. She was in a different hotel. Zach's like, Patti, come in. Will you go to the basement? Look it, it's ladies. Yeah, sure. It was so funny, but she was letting out. Zach doesn't get it. Zach wants to face big demons and devils. He wants to, but he doesn't get that she was doing something, bringing in that actually was kind of screwing up the production. She was bringing in these dark, that it wasn't like, Zach gets to face a big scary thing. It was screwing up cameras and I was seeing these oozy black things down the hall. Chris Fleming saw them too. So he didn't quite get that is what he does, this versus that. It was causing, not the kind of bad that he wanted. It was.
And I think that that's one of the caveats that you have to do when you're on TV. Obviously, your practice is 100% authentic and you're going to be who you are 100% of the time.
Yep.
But you can tailor it so that it doesn't get in the way of the production. And so I think that
exactly. I would never, ever, 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 ever fake anything. But again, I don't want to go friend out Lady Snake now. Her real name is Wendy. She's in the UK. Again, I'm sure she's a lovely lady and I'd like her practice. But let's just keep this for the next time he wants to throw us together.
So third time, right, would be the charm, yeah?
Yeah. Well,
Maybe this time you should stand with the cauldron and then let her come in.
I know. At that last one, again, you guys, TV is very, very edited. You don't get to see all sorts of stuff, but there's been some funny stuff. I've made Zach jump a lot.
I love it. They should just take a spin-off show of you the whole time and call it The Real Witches of Ghost Adventures.
There you go. That's right. And both of us.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, we have 5 minutes left. Would you like to say a goodbye to our viewers?
Thank you, you guys. Thank you guys for listening to shows like this, for making magic part of your life. Thank you for having me on. Like me, follow me. My website's pattynegri.com. I'm on all the social medias, patty.negri, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, let's hang.
Show your book again, Patti. Show us your book.
Oh, my book. Oh, yeah. Old World Magic for the Modern. Look at, see, even I've got notes and things. It's ebook, audiobook, print book, super simple. You could, it's little, tiny. But
so if I buy that book and I send it to you, you're going to autograph it, right?
That's right. Well, actually, send me your address. I'll just send you one autograph. So you don't have to send it back and forth.
You got it. You got it. Thank you, Patti.
Email your address and it's yours. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. We greatly appreciate it. I loved your energy, your knowledge, all the wisdom. It was great. I can feel your energy through the computer, so it feels great.
And I can yours. I love doing shows with like-minded, beautiful, amazing, magical people. So thank you. Honor to be on, really. Thank
you so much. Awesome. Well, guys, that's it for this episode. Have a great night.
Bye.
All right. So that was our interview with Patti.
Yeah, that was great. I really enjoyed her. Man, she's got a lot of energy.
She does, definitely. I did want to show a little bit more of what she's got going on. So here's a fun picture of her on the set of Ghost Adventures. If you haven't seen her on there, she does incredible, incredible stuff. The Cecil Hotel episode, it literally it'll shake you. It was intense. And then here's her book for everybody that was asking. Old Magic for the Modern World. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle. It's even in an audio book because I know a lot of us are busy and can't sit down and read a whole book. So I highly recommend it. I purchased it personally. And she also has her own podcast called The Witching Hour. It's on every Friday. You can get it on most podcast platforms. So there's lots of ways to hear more from Patti.
Awesome. So March 27th, Saturday, 6 p.m., the Wizard's Table, RU Media Network. Our next guest is Carolina Dean. Carolina Dean is a very powerful, well-known hoodoo practitioner. You definitely want to tune in for that. A lot of respect for him. He's done a lot. Great wisdom, great knowledge, great experience. So we're going to sign off a little early tonight, unless you got anything else.
There was one question in here that Linda asked. She said, in prayer with the hands clasped together, is that to bring balance?
Yeah, it can. Absolutely. There's a lot of power in the way you hold your body and stuff like that, especially in combination with prayer. Yoga is a great example. In the West, in the United States, a lot of people don't incorporate prayer into yoga. But if you do, watch out. Powerful stuff. I love yoga. I used to do it all the time. Recently, I haven't been able to, but I definitely am looking forward to getting back into it. It was mostly because of the coronavirus is the reason I had to stop. But yoga is powerful. That's just one example, sure. But yes.
Absolutely. And there's so many benefits to yoga and meditation in your magical practice to help ground yourself and check in with your own alignment. If you subscribe to chakras, which I personally do, it's a really nice time to sit down and check in. And luckily, there are so many resources online now that you can walk through yoga, you can walk through meditation. There's tons of books on chakras and different hand positions. They're called mudras that'll help align stuff. So there's all sorts of stuff. And I think that just this simple motion of putting your hands together can be so powerful with the right application.
It's been done so much for thousands of years. This simple hand position has so much power. Also in yoga, now I don't know the techniques because I didn't, I did yoga for about a year and a half, but again, it was from Western perspective. So there wasn't much spirituality or mysticism involved in it, but there are yoga techniques, positions you can take with your body or whatever, where you can actually facilitate communication with spirit through yoga.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Are there any other sort of practices that aren't traditionally seen as occult that you work into your practice?
That's a good question. I don't really think so. I mean, I don't know.
Understandable. I mean, I've done a few. There are very specific ways every once in a while that I'll work on cleaning my space, and definitely paying attention to like the way in which I take a shower or like when I take a bath and that sort of things that you can incorporate, or even the way that you stir your creamer into your coffee can definitely be a way to continue your practice and enhance your magic.
I see what you're saying. I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question. Yes. And I think Patti had brought it up at one point about carving stuff into your soap. I've actually done that. I've actually carved runes into bars of soap in order to cleanse myself, or in order to empower myself, in order to give me strength, or to get over an illness. So I've even marked runes with a marker on my broom to help cleanse the house, to get rid of any kind of negative energy that may be around, stuff like that. So, yeah.
There's so much stuff that you can do. For the women watching, I've seen a lot of glamour spells and strength spells and self-love spells done in your makeup.
Yeah, well, I don't know nothing about no makeup, but
Robert says Tai Chi is another good one you can use as well.
Yeah, that's some powerful stuff. Absolutely. Definitely. He's right. That's Reebok.
Latosha, I'm just learning my abilities. I think that's awesome, and the sky is the limit at this point. Get your hands on some books and a mentor if you can find one, and you're going to love it.
So a lot of people have asked, how do they start working with specific gods, goddesses, deities, whatever? I like to tell them, especially if the deity comes to you, whether it's in a dream or some kind of vision, whatever, start with the mythology. Read the mythology. That's really one of the best places to start.
And a lot of it is easier to start there because you know a lot of the gods' names already. We're familiar with them because, you know, we were told to read a lot of the Odyssey and the Iliad when we were in high school. So you're pretty familiar with the Roman and Greek pantheons already. So it'll be a really nice bridging point so that you're not only learning an entire new system, but you don't have to learn all of the names and entities associated with it necessarily.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Well, do we have any other questions for this evening? Nope. Looks like we're good to go.
But yeah, that was a great interview. That was fun. And like I said, I loved her energy.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And I couldn't help but ask her about Lady Snake. Did you see those episodes?
I did not. No.
Okay, so you're gonna have to look them up. because it got kind of heated.
Yeah, I've heard that they don't like each other, and I just somehow have missed the episodes in all the Ghost Adventures that I've watched.
Yeah.
Ooh, Sarah asked a good question. B, when do you want to go on an investigation with Ken Reebok and myself? Honestly, if somebody holds my hand the whole time, I'll go whenever you guys are ready. Just don't make fun of me because Ken's seen it. I watched a scary movie at his house, and I jump, and I scream, and I might cry.
And she did. What did we watch? The It?
Yeah, we watched it.
Yeah. And like seriously, she was jumping.
So I'm ready to go whenever. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Ken, this one's for you. Hey, Ken, when using the SB7 connected to an external speaker, you'll be able to hear a lot more.
Okay.
That's an excellent tip.
Absolutely. Definitely. Thank you, Reebok. Thank you.
Awesome.
So I want to also give a big shout out to Jean Jerome and Teresa Silowinski from Ancestral Eyes. They had us on last night, and they support our show very much. And we are so grateful for them. We are so grateful for their support. And it was fun. I really enjoyed being on there last night.
It was a blast. They both have so much knowledge, and they're also just excellent people. So to be able to interact with them and kind of pick their brains was just a blast.
Yeah, and I love listening to John Jerome. I love listening to him.
Yeah.
And me and Teresa, we're friends. She's great. I love her.
She's incredible. All right, Sarah, we'll set it up. We'll get going.
For sure. For sure. And me and Sarah and Reebok, we've talked about a few places over in Pensacola area to go on an investigation. Now, Reebok is an experienced paranormal investigator. Obviously, I come from an occult background, not really investigating. So it should be fun to go with him and to learn.
Yeah, I think it would be awesome. And if you guys ever film your paranormal investigations, this would be the one to film. Like I said, I jump real high.
Yeah, we do plan on doing that.
Yeah, that would be
plan on filming,
so great.
So, yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, I think that's it for this broadcast. Thanks for everybody who tuned in and who commented and who continues to support the show. We really appreciate it. Again, check out Patti's book. It's incredible. I think everybody can take something away from it. There's so much in there, and a lot of it is just really quick, easy things you can do. And in this day and age where we're always working and we're always busy, we only have 30 seconds, I think this is perfect, especially if you're just getting into your craft. She's incredibly powerful and knowledgeable.
And that's the good thing I will say real quick. That's the good thing about that type of magic, folk magic, hoodoo folk magic, European folk magic, whatever, is you don't need all these extreme elaborate ceremonies or rituals. You can use just about what you have, household objects.
Absolutely.
So
awesome. And definitely check out our episode of Ancestral Eyes and continue to support the other podcasts here on RU Media Network. We're so grateful that they invited us into the family, and we hope you all have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye.